Hi everybody, it's Abby, and today is your Friday video, and I apologize, I've missed you so much. It feels good to be making video again. And so, I'm sorry that I have been gone for so long. It was totally midterm's fault. The first week that I didn't post a video was the beginning of midterms, and I had been sitting in classes all day oh, I guess I'll just do all my homework and then I'll be done for the weekend and I can make a video today because I procrastinated a little bit. And then all of a sudden every single teacher I had was like 80-page essay, 150,000 question test on Monday. So then midterms was all week long, and then on Friday I was just passed out, and then randomly I woke up and we went downtown and weird things happened there, as you probably saw from my post. So that happened, but I am back now. I'm super happy, and today is my special Teach Matt How to Draw Day. Yay! So, I'm going to use my big sketchbook because I'm not doing paint. It's too much of an issue. And things you will need are these Crayola markers, black and gray. The light changes every time I hold this up, and I really don't like it. I feel like maybe I should... No, it still does that. Alright, guess you're just gonna have to deal with that then. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be super trippy. It's so good. So trippy. My eyes are really blue today. That's really nice. P.S. Another reason I haven't been able to do anything involving you guys, which I'm so sorry for, is because of this. Into the Woods, the show that I have to be the PR representative for. Tonight is opening night. Last night was the dress rehearsal / the free student viewing. Students could come and watch for free if they wanted. These are the shirts, and they're super awesome, and they were made by one of my friends here, Matt Lenning, who's a super talented hand screen printer. It's really cool. I was super duper impressed. So that's another reason, because this has just taken up my entire life, and I apologize for that. Also, I don't know if this video will be very edited, so I apologize for that. Okay, so here's the deal, Matt. I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to draw faces, mainly eyes, because that seems to be a difficult thing. So, first of all, let's begin with the eyes. I think that's a good place to start, because that seems to be something that you want to do. So, you take something really light. If you're just using a pencil, then just draw lightly with the pencil. But since I'm too lazy to go get a pencil, and these were right on the desk next to my bed. So, just if you're using a pen or markers, use a gray marker and then a black marker, and it'll work out great. So, what you do... Oh, this is going to be trippy trying to do it this way. Alright. What you're going to do, Matt, is you just draw a line like this. Whoop. Got that? Do you see the line? It's super faint. Maybe I should do it in black. Ah, well, whatever. So you just draw a line like that. And then, after that, you draw a rectangle. And it has to go through the points that are right here. And let me explain. It sounds confusing, but you just draw a tilted rectangle so that one point lines up with this and one point lines up with this. So it looks like this. Oh, wait, it looks like this. I did it wrong. I apologize. Wah, 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 wah. Do you see that? Do you see that? Okay. Maybe I should flip it upside down. It looks like it would be better upside down. Whatever. Anyway, after that, you just kind of shape it a little bit more. It curves in a little bit here because of this little dippy thing where you get all your eye boogers when you wake up. Shape that. You give it some eyelashes what's it called? A lid. An eyelid is really important. Look at my eyelid. It's very important. It's there. It's covered in makeup. I'm sorry. Since going to college, I've started wearing makeup. It's weird. So that's the eye. And then you draw the pupil, the iris, I guess, and then the pupil. And here's another thing that you should know about the eye. The iris, the colored ring, is never, ever, ever, ever supposed to have white all the way around, unless the person is really scared, because if there's white all the way around, they're terrified. Look how terrified I look. Oh, I'm so terrified. So don't do that. Always have it slightly brimmed off. I think you know that by now. And then once you have your rough draft in, you can go in with the black. But I think for now I'm just going to use all the sketches in black just to show you. But that was supposed to be like good artist technique, and it failed. I apologize. But yes, you just do that, and then it turns into an eye. You see the eye? Look how good of an eye that is. Alright, now let's teach you about proportions. Yay! Okay, so here's the deal. The body proportions are really... This video is just silly. Let me just change these settings for a bit. Backlight. Brighten up. Gamma. Lighten up. There we go. A little bit. There we go. Look how nice that is. I'll bring the gamma down a little bit now. Alright. I apologize for technical difficulties. It was getting weird. It was getting super trippy. Alright. Proportions are incredibly important to an artist, because the thing that people struggle with the most, and you struggle with this as well, Matt, is thinking that they know how a body looks. But it's hard to translate a body from being 3D into 2D, especially because of foreshortening. Oh, it's the devil, I know. So here are a few tricks to do with anatomy and proportions that I learned in my drawing class here on like the first day, and they're super duper handy, and I've been using them loosely but for a while now, but they gave me like a solid technique, so it's real good, so pay attention. And it's also going to be weird for you, Matt, because you started with anime, and anime is not good drawing technique, which is okay. I started with anime too. Just know that if you want to start doing realistic looking drawings, you're going to have to work really hard to not look anime. So, here's the deal. You start off, and a really good way to start off, as weird as it sounds, is with just a second, let me find it. I'm going to have to edit this, I guess. Oh, it's over there. I am going to have to edit this. A really good way to start out drawing proportionally proportioned figures is with a $1 bill. I am in college, so the fact that I have a $1 bill is super impressive to me, so this is really valuable. But a $1 bill is roughly 6 inches. I think it is 6 inches. So that's a really good place to start. So what you do is you fold the dollar bill in half, right? And then you make a little mark. You can do it in pencil if you don't want to draw on your dollar bill. But you fold it straight in half like that. You make a little mark for the halfway mark. And then you use that as a reference guide to how tall your figure is going to be. But wait, there's more. Okay, so I did that. How tall your figure is going to be. See that? This is really bad to do. I'm sorry, Matt. But I'm not done yet. So, now that you have that, you're going to take the bottom, in between the middle mark and the bottom mark, you're going to guess about a halfway line. And you're going to mark it right there. That was an awesome line, Abby. Good job. And then, at the top mark, instead of marking it halfway, you're going to mark it in thirds. Okay? And it's nice if you can do this exactly. It helps. But you don't really have to. So that's what that should look like, just about roughly. That's the proportions. And this is what the proportions are. The middle line, as you may have been able to guess because you're a bright child, is where the hips go. That's right there. This line right here is where the knees will fall. And this line right here is your ground line. That does not mean that that's where the ankle goes. That's where the bottom of the foot goes. Bottom of the feet, knees, hips. And that doesn't mean, well, yeah, that doesn't mean hips as in the place where your legs connect into the place where your legs bend. That means your hips, like your pelvic structure, the top of it, which is weird. Like if you feel around on your hips, you'll find your pelvic structure. Anyway, Okay, so after that, halfway up, this line and this line create the lower half of your torso from like, okay, I'm gonna have to explain this. The torso is separated into two parts. There is a bend line right in the center of your torso, and that's where all of your central movement is. No matter how you move your torso, that point is always going to be the connecting point between the top two halves. They're always going to connect there. No matter what way they twist, they'll always connect there. So, when you are drawing figures, what you're going to do is, in this line, you're going to make like a little box here for the lower half of the torso, and then you're going to make a little box here. That's your bending line, okay? Then you're going to make a little bit of a triangle because the shoulders slope downwards. And then right up here is the top of the head, which, granted, I know it looks small, but that's because you're used to drawing big anime heads. That's how a head really looks. And then this is the figure. I'm sorry, I draw girls. And then from this line to this line, that's the knee. That's the femur, I guess. And then from down here, the feet are really tough. I'm not going to deny that. But if you just remember that they are just big triangles. A foot is just a triangle. From your ankle, the thing that people mistake a lot of the time is thinking that from their ankle, their heel just goes right here, but it doesn't. From their ankle, it's a triangle. See that? It's clever. So, you always remember that when you're drawing feet. And then, the arms, usually, there's the shoulder. The arms usually drop, and the elbow usually drops somewhere around the center line of the torso. And then the wrist usually falls to the hip line, and the hands come out below that. And then there's also this thing called the, I don't remember, it's this thing about straight lines and curved lines. Basically, what it means is in my arm, if you can see straight, I'm sorry that my arm is so weird. We'll do that. Ooh, the contrast is just blowing my brains. Alright. If you can see my arm, you will see that I'm incredibly fit and buff. Now, other than that, you'll notice that this line is relatively flat. I'm not going to say that it's completely flat because it's not. There's a natural curve, but that's partly because I have, like, fat there. But that's not unhealthy, and I'm not insecure about it. So this line is flat. This line curves up. You see the curve. It's bigger in big men, but that's just what it is. On the other hand, this side is relatively flat, and this side is relatively curved. And it kind of, that's really bad. My arm is funny shaped, so you can't really see this at work very well. Oh, there it is. Curved, fairly straight. I'm not going to say that it's perfectly straight, because it's not. Everything in the body has curves. And the same goes for legs. The back of the thigh, except on dancers that have been working with their thighs their entire lives, the back of the thigh is usually a fairly straight line. The front of the thigh usually curves out a little bit. The front of this is incredibly straight. Your shins are incredibly straight, almost even concave. The back of your calves are very much out, especially if you're a dancer. That was weird. Alright, moving on. So, using that rule, Maddie, my dear, you go in after that and you flesh out your character and you round them out. Also, another note that I forgot to mention, from the hip line, there's going to be like a bikini line here. It's not really a bikini line, that's just how your pelvis looks. If you look at a skeleton, the pelvis looks like that. So you have to remember to, like, there's the skeleton. Okay, we're just going to do this now. So you have to remember that the pelvis comes down, so that when you draw this line, your legs aren't going to come all the way up here, because that just looks silly. But yeah, you round out the figure. You don't have to worry about feet. Feet are really hard. I'll make an entire tutorial just for feet someday. But as long as you stick to these general proportions, you will be dandy. That wasn't the real word. Also, just some really interesting proportional facts. If you take your forearm right here and your foot, they are the same length. This isn't a guide to everyone's body. Some bodies can be different. If you have really big feet or really stubby arms, this won't apply to you, but it applies to almost everyone in the world. Also, if you put your thumb and close it in as close as you can to your fingers, it's almost always the length of your nose. How interesting. Like I said, that might not apply to everyone. But also, Matt, when you are drawing, you need to remember very important things about facial structures. You can pause this video and draw my face if you want. The eyeballs are halfway down the head, but that doesn't mean halfway down the face, because from the hairline to the chin is not the face. From the top of the head, which you can't see because there's hair there, this is the top of my head. Let me try to center my head. This is so trippy. From right here to right here, the eyes are in the middle. But that's hard to do because you always forget about the hair. The hair line comes a third of the way, comes halfway between your eyes and the top of your head. Hairline is halfway between that. The nose is halfway between your eyes and your chin, right there. And then your mouth is halfway between your nose and your chin. Got that? Okay, good. Glad we got that over with. People always have cheeks, unless they're super emancipated. Emancipated isn't the word. I think that's enough drawing for now. But yeah, so Maddie, keep it up, and I'm sorry if this video wasn't super duper helpful. But if you have any questions, you can text me. Tej, you can do this too, I guess, since you're in art. And what else? I can teach you about shading if you want, since you're doing fine arts and that piece might require shading. But yeah, I think that's just about it. I went trick-or-treating for the very first time, and it was awesome. And I dressed up like a gypsy. And I destroyed all the pictures because it was crazy. She put me in a corset. It was bad. So I'm gonna go. Bye, everybody. P.S. Before I go, TJ, your cookies were so delicious. Thank you so much for sending them to me. He literally just sent me a box, just filled, literally filled with cookies. Not like with packages of cookies, just with cookies. It was stinking delicious, and I couldn't even eat them all. I had to keep like bringing them to hang out with friends and be like, please eat these cookies. I can't eat them anymore. I'm getting fat. And also, I've just been so blessed lately. Mel and Matt and Courtney, thank you so much for your package. It was like the most thoughtful thing that anyone has ever done to me, like ever. And I have Courtney's and Mel's letters and the magnet on my thing to do, and I have Matt's sketchbook. And Matt, I'm sorry this looks bad that I'm digging around in my desk to find your sketchbook, but I promise it's because I've read this a lot. It's like bedtime reading for me. So you guys are really sweet, and that was a really nice package that you sent, so thank you so much. I also enjoyed the bubble wrap.